So today we're going to make Knäckebröd, which is a Swedish flatbread. Um, this is a recipe that I often make at least once a month, and it's great because one, it's easy to make. The ingredients are fairly straightforward, and the bread lasts for a long time. And this is something that dates back centuries, this recipe, and it would keep people satiated throughout the winter months. And so it's always good to think back on those recipes, and there's a reason why they've lasted for so long. So I've started off with about a cup of rye flour. And to that, I'm going to add some milk. You can use whatever milk product that you have. I've made this with whole milk, skim milk, yogurt. Here I'm using not milk. Um, Use whatever milk product that you have. If you don't have milk, you can certainly use water. You can flavor the water if you want to make tea, and this recipe is quite flexible. So I'm going to just add the milk here and just mix it, just see what consistency I get and see whether I need to add more flour or not. I added about a half of a cup of milk to this. And then I'm going to add some spices. So I really like caraway seeds, so I'm adding caraway seeds. I'm going to add some cumin seeds. And then I have this packet of mixed spices that I got at the Indian grocer called Panch Paran. Don't get upset if I'm mispronouncing this. This is a combination of mustard, cumin, fennel, and black nigella seeds. And so let's give this a shot. And then we're going to add a teaspoon, or half a teaspoon rather, of baking powder. I'm going to be generous. And yeah, this recipe, it does call for rye flour. That's the traditional way that this is made. But you can certainly use whole wheat flour if you have that and you don't have rye flour. It's not a problem. Just mix this around. So I already have the oven warmed up. I put it on 425, and what we're going to do is I'm just adding a little bit more flour to this, and then we're going to roll these out into a few pieces, probably 5 or 6 pieces we'll get out of this, and put it in the oven for like 10 to 15 minutes. It really depends on your oven, let's say. And yeah, let me show you what happens. You're going to want to flour whatever surface that you're working on. And just make these little dough balls. And then I'm going to roll them out one by one. It's probably smart to also, you can learn from my mistakes, flour your rolling pin. Otherwise, the dough will stick, and this is going to be a very sticky dough. And at first, when you make the base, you're going to think that you did something wrong because it does seem very sticky. Any recipe that you find of this for this bread, the base is traditionally very sticky, and you end up adding a lot of extra flour to get it to roll out. And so that's what you're watching me go through, simply because I didn't really measure anything, or I'm not really going off of a recipe. This is all from memory. But now we can see it start taking shape, and we'll get these nice little flat patties that look like this. But traditionally, this bread is usually grooved, and so I have a special roller here that I'm going to use to indent it, and it does two jobs because it kind of sticks to the roller, which makes it a little bit easier for me to put it on my baking tray. It's a little bit like magic. So if you don't have this, it's not the end of the world. You don't need it, but it does help in this process. Okay, let's put that there.
Traditionally, this type of bread would be made with a hole in the middle, and that is so the bread could be stored on sticks that were located under the roofs. And when you buy this type of bread at some stores like IKEA, you can still buy it with the hole in the center.
Okay, so I've already filled up 2 baking sheets with these crisp breads, and so now I'm going to put them in the oven. Again, I had the oven preheated at 425. I'm going to put them in. I'm going to check probably around after 8 minutes. Again, it depends on the oven that you're using. So after 8 minutes, check on them and see whether they are brown or crispy or not. So I'm going to put them in the oven now.
Make good use of the time that you have while the bread is baking. Clean up, but also make sure that the bread does not burn.
So here we have it, the finished product of our Knäckebröd. And let's see how crisp these are. So they break pretty easily. You can definitely taste the cumin. It's great. So these pieces of bread, they tend to be pretty dry, and so it's best to serve them with other things. So typically when I'm consuming this, I'll have it with, a cheese or cheese and a jam or hummus, whatever spread that I have. And, it's great with mustard and meats and things like that. This is something that's quite versatile that you can use in all matters of settings. It's not, if you really like plain food, it could be a nice snack by itself. I always am mixing it with other food that I have in my fridge and in my pantry. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and as always, I would appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and check out my Instagram and TikTok for other content. Have a good day.